Okay.
Okay, so it's a pleasure to have the chance to speak to you, Maryanne. No,
Yes.
and we had a very interesting conversation last week uh, with Gacheke, who put me in
Yes.
touch with you, talking a
Mm-hmm.
little bit about the situation on the ground, him in Mathare, but in the informal settlements more generally, with respect to the
Yeah.
ongoing pandemic. And so he told me that it would be really useful to speak to you. That you also
Mm-hmm.
are like him, very much involved in the grassroots struggle on the ground in Kayole, no? Kayole. And
Yes.
so I'm really happy to get the chance to speak with you. So if you could tell, I guess just to start, just tell us a little bit about the work you do and how, but in relationship to what's going on with this COVID-19 pandemic, what is happening in the informal settlements? What's the feeling on the ground? What are the challenges that people are facing?
Okay. Thank you so much, Jeff. This is Maryanne Kasina. I'm the convener of the Women in the Social Justice Centre in Kenya, whereby in Nairobi we have 16 social justice centers that are situated in the informal settlement, and we have uh, the other parts of the country. We having other 14 social justice centers from the informal to other rural parts of the country.
Mm,
So mainly what the people are going through during this COVID-19, the cases of domestic violence or gender-based violence have increased currently due to the people not being able to meet their daily bread. Putting food on the table is a problem, and and with the patriarchal society and the frustrations of men being the society just letting men being the head of the families and not being able to provide. So the intimate partner violence has increased because men feel frustrated that they cannot bring food on the table, and they feel the system has just failed them because the system just tend to give power to one gender, and not acknowledging that women are part of the society and they play a key role to the society.
mm,
So and even also the cases of police brutality have increased because uh, the issue of unemployment, which has increased crime rate, and especially to the informal settlement, because of the issue of the class struggle. Certain few people can afford to have food on the table, while the other majority of the masses cannot access food. So the crime rate has increased, especially to the informal settlement, because one thing, if people cannot afford to eat, they have to get the food by force, by fire. So what do they have to do? Crime has to be there. So the system has denied people that dignity. It has driven
mm,
off us dignity as human beings, because something like food and water, housing, something that people should not be begging for. As we're speaking during this COVID-19, we have issues of water. We cannot access water. The system has commercialized water, and water is life. Water makes us being human beings, because how can you not survive without water? What is
mm.
our body is meant of 70% of water. We need water, and we cannot access water. And the World Health Organization is giving us the precautions of washing our hands regularly, and yet the system has denied us that water. That basic need, and that's a human right. That's a basic human right. That's what makes a human being live, survive. Yeah.
Very, very interesting, very disturbing. So can you tell me a little bit about what kinds of initiatives through the Social Justice Center you guys are pushing in order to respond to this pandemic situation?
So especially on the extrajudicial execution, I've been the convener of the Women in the Social Justice Center, and just seeing what happened to George Floyd, the issue of police brutality. It's happening international wide, and even to the local. At the Social Justice Centre, we came in together to fight against police brutality, which is a war that we're continuing fighting till to now. And what we've thought of doing now, as especially as the women, the Social Justice Centre, because we feel as the women we cannot continue giving birth and our labor being exploited by the system, giving birth to our children being killed by the system anytime, any day they wish, because we feel these are state sanctions. The system understand who are these killers. We understand the killer cops, and the purpose of killing our children is because the system has failed to provide employment, so people cannot meet basic need. So that's police brutality, and because the system has failed somewhat to provide the basic need for the people to survive as human beings. So as the movement and as the women in the Social Justice Centre, we are working on a petition and to have an international campaign on police brutality, to say end police brutality and our lives matter. The campaigns that we're pushing forward to have an international campaign on police, ending police execution, ending police enforced disappearance. We, as at the Social Justice Centre, we've lost Comrade for the last 1 month, and Comrade went missing with his brother, with his cousin, and a taxi driver. Those 3 comrades were yet to find them, and the system tends to pretend that they could not understand how the comrades went on missing. But if it was their people, they would have made sure that within a week would have found them. But I can tell you that up to now, we're in distress, we're in trauma of losing comrades, and within our month, we are yet to find them. We've been documenting cases of police brutality and executions, and the police and the system has been trying to threaten us as the Social Justice Centre's movement, threatening comrades. I remember we had a case of last year losing Karo Mwada, that she went on missing, and up to date, we're still seeking justice for Karo Mwada. So the system is still fighting us. They do not want to acknowledge of human rights. They're violating human rights.
Yeah, so you guys have this ongoing campaign against the extrajudicial executions. Are there other measures that you guys have been pushing for, and initiatives with respect to, in particular, the COVID-19 pandemic, responding to these problems at the level of the neighborhood?
In the informal settlement, the challenge of water is a crisis. And we've been pushing for an adequate of fresh water, because the kind of water that we've been using is a salt water, and we've gone to an extent of even doing the testing of that water and find that we cannot be able to use the water because it's unsafe. It's unsafe for the people to use it. So last month we went for a demo, not exactly a demo. It was just a friendly talk to the one of the Nairobi water companies that address the issue. So we went to the water authorities wanting to understand the reason why we cannot access water. And what the authorities had just to do, had to call the police, and we got arrested. They wanted to accuse us with the issues of COVID-19. Would not keep social distance, but the good thing, we were 9 of us, and we had kept social distance. We had masks, so they could not have any way that they could just, they were threatening us of taking us to quarantine sectors. They were threatening to take us to quarantine areas. They were threatening us to take us to the quarantine areas, and they find that we are keeping the precautions of how to keep the COVID-19 measures. We kept social distance, and they asked us why we were doing the demonstration. We told them we're not doing demonstration. We just came to pay a courtesy visit to the water authorities to understand and to explain to them the challenges that we are going, the challenges that people are facing during COVID-19. That they cannot access water, and life has become very hard and expensive for people to survive, so they have to pay water, and it's so hard people to survive without water. And so we feel like most of the people in the informal settlement are going to be largely affected during COVID-19, or to be victims of COVID-19, because if they cannot afford water and cannot afford sanitizers, so it shows that you're not going to survive COVID-19. Because you're going to be the first-hand victim because you do not have water. And we cannot afford to buy sanitizers. They're very expensive for us. So we need water in our taps. And we told them our taps are dry. And we cannot understand why our taps are dry. And you're paying taxes. And it's a right that the system should be providing for us water. And we have natural resources. We have water. What is the problem?
Mm. So and they and so they threatened to have you guys arrested and taken into quarantine. Is this something that is happening? That people are getting sent into quarantine for reasons that are basically state brutality?
Yeah, because I remember when we got arrested, they took us to the police station, and they were threatening us with the issue of who are we? Can you do you remember Miguna? Miguna was deported. Who are you now that you think now you can threaten the system? We told them we're not trying to threaten the system. We're trying just to let you understand that the people on the ground are really facing it, and the people on the ground are not going to survive this COVID-19. Or is it the aim of wanting you to kill us? That's why you don't want to provide for us water. We are just here to just have a real talk and understand what the people are saying. So this month on 4th, you're going to court because here in Kenya they've closed the court, the judicial system. It has been they've closed it because of COVID-19. Also, people are working from home. But hopefully, we're waiting to hear if you're going to court on 4th, because on 4th of this month you have to go to court. So when we went to the police station, they told us the water authorities wanted to have a talk with us, and we told them we cannot have a talk together because we need them to address the people. Where is the issue of them not getting to access water? So they should not need to address us because it's not about us, but it's about the people. So it's good them to give a statement why the people cannot access water. Because when you are going to have just a personal meeting, or just the 9 of us that went to pay the courtesy to know why we did not have water, we told them it was not about us, but we are here representing the voice of the masses. So we're waiting them to give a statement why people cannot access water in the informal settlement. Have they turned the issue of water become a cartel business? And when you're trying to see what in fact the governor in Nairobi trying to use it as if it's a way of to do his political PR. Because I remember the other day he just brought tractors of trailers and people are queuing for the same water, cannot keep social distance because people are fighting for that water. And we told them the issue of bringing water with the tractors is not sustainable, not a long-term solution. We need a long-term solution. And long-term solution is fixing water in our taps and letting our taps flow water, that all of us can access water, and you're going to keep that social distance. If they want us to stay home, they need to provide us sustainable ways and means of us coping with the COVID-19. One of them being the system, the government, the state needs to provide food to the people. But that's something that we should not be begging for. It's a right.
So how are people getting access to food and water then in these conditions where they're being asked to stay home?
People are starving. People are starving in the informal settlement. People are doing one meal a day. People are doing even a meal after 2 days. People are starving. People are sleeping of hunger. Even COVID-19 is not a threat to us like the starvation, because people are no longer going to, before we get the COVID-19, even starvation itself is going to kill the people, because the government, the state has not provided the food to the people. And most of the companies have locked down, have closed their businesses. People have closed down their businesses because there's kind of this businesses that people do, businesses that involve most of the people, like business where people are doing food, hotels. Hotels have closed down. So and hotels have been employing people, so those people have to go home. At the bar, who's caring of the people that used to attend the bar? The bars have closed. No bar during the night. No bar. No business during the night because of the lockdown. So no business during the night. And you understand, with the kind of the population that you have, you have people working during the day and people working during the night. So it shows the people that are working during the night are no longer going to have food. because
Mm.
so they're no longer going to work.
Mm.
And the
Mm.
system has, the government has done nothing about it. Who is caring
Mm.
about the sex workers? Who's caring? No one cares. The government just wants to bring in measures that are not uh, that do not work with the people's struggle. They do not. They just put in measures that cannot lie with us, because you're telling us not to go out, and you've not provided us even rent. People cannot pay rent. People are
Yeah.
sleeping. Government doing evictions. We're having evictions. How is
Mm.
the government telling us to stay home and doing demolitions, and mothers and children being raped during the night because of them sleeping outside?
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
Sounds.
situation is hard, becoming
Yeah.
more hard. And
Yeah.
police brutality, police arrest because of not having mask. And the
Mm.
government has not given even the people masks. People cannot afford to buy.
So the police.
These
So
are
the
stressful.
police are engaging with people and accusing them of not having masks and doing things with them because they
Yeah,
don't have
yeah,
masks.
and making it a business, making it a business. They tell you, I've arrested you because you do not have even sometimes they might have your mask on the neck and not putting them here and just arresting you. You are not having the mask. So we have to arrest you and they need you to pay bribes or take you to
Mm.
quarantine. And you try to think of quarantine. I better give out this handout, 10,000 handouts, rather than going to quarantine and spend 3,000 per day. And you yourself, you cannot earn 3,000 per day. You're getting 200 is a problem.
Mm. So people are
And
afraid
you,
of being. So people are afraid of being sent to quarantine, and people are making money off of threatening to take people to quarantine. What does that mean with respect to? How does that affect people getting tested? What's going on with people getting tested in the neighborhoods? Are people afraid to get tested?
people are afraid of getting tested for COVID-19.
Mm.
People are really afraid because one thing, if you try to understand the cases of people that have COVID-19, the government has not showed us the people that have recovered. They only just need to keep each and every day continue to give more cases of COVID-19 and making more frustration. But the question is, if they want us to survive COVID-19, but they cannot afford to give us basic need, do they really want us to survive COVID-19? Or is it a
Mm.
way of the government that wants to reduce population by letting people to have COVID-19? So people are
Mm.
afraid of having COVID-19 because if you tell them not to go to social places, they have to go because that's where they can get their daily bread. And
Mm.
do not have friendly spaces and working conditions, conducive conditions, working conducive places
Mm. Mm.
that are
Mm.
suitable for human beings.
Mm.
Yeah.
So yeah, very disturbing. So so you mentioned already, you made some reference to the situation in the United States with Floyd, the murder of George Floyd, and all of the response to that. So thinking about international solidarity, so you paint a very bleak picture of the situation on the ground in Nairobi, in the
Yeah.
informal settlements in Nairobi. What is the message that you want people around the world who are interested in forging a kind of international solidarity? What should solidarity look like?
So I think we should be on the front line to fight against police brutality and police execution. Uh, and we need to do a lot of mass work to educate people understand that we need to abolish the police system. We do not
Mm.
need police anymore because the police are here to protect us, and we feel now they're not here to protect us, but the people that are eating us. So we are
Mm.
tired, and we cannot continue having blood on the streets. We cannot continue watching to have the slow massacre that the system is doing. Well, that the system is doing the slow massacre. The issue of police brutality is something that has become a world crisis. All
Mm.
over, we're having police killings. Is it because of this? Is it a way of the system of doing threatening the masses out of organizing? They
Mm.
want to inflict fear to the people.
Mm.
Do they
Mm.
want to militarize the struggle?
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So we need to understand. So the message out here, as the people and as women in the Social Justice Centre, as we are going to champion the issue of police brutality the issue of police execution. We are going to fight that war. We are ready to continue fighting for the freedom of Black people. We are going to fight the freedom of the people, of the workers. We are going to continue to fight the people, to organize for the struggle of the people's struggle, the struggle that is owned by the people. Yeah. So as Women in the Social Justice Center, we're having a campaign on the EJ, and I told you we are going to have an international campaign. And as Kenya, we are going to write a petition on Sabasaba. Next month we have Sabasaba March for Our Lives. So this time we're not going to march to Kambuji. This time we are going to march to the Parliament and give out our petition to the Parliament and tell them this is what we want to be done. We need preparations again. We need preparations. We need equality. We're tired. So as a way of educating people to come out, we are going to have artwork. We are going to draw George Floyd with the. We are going to have that picture. I can send you the kind of the picture you're going to draw and write "Stop killing us. Our lives matter."
Our lives matter. Our lives matter.
Our lives matter. So we are going to have that work in every public space, in all the informal settlements, because we have in Nairobi we have 16 informal settlement social justice centers. We are going to draw. We are going to give more information to those artwork around police brutality, around police execution, around enforced disappearance, around how the police has brought fear to the people, that we no longer now have that good relationship between the police and the people. And the police, we pay the police through our labor. So how is it the police that have turned against the people? We need to understand. So it's us now to come out and speak and have one voice and say, enough is enough. We need to end police execution, or we abolish the police. We need to abolish the police because it's no longer for the people. It's not friendly for the people, but it's there because of the system. And the system is no longer minding about the people. So it's us now the people to have the people's voice.
Yeah. And in particular, what kind of role do you think that international people who are interested in expressing solidarity with the struggle, what we can do?
I think one thing we can have exchange program, international exchange program with the grassroots women movement, and come with the aim of building a strong movement that is owned by the people, and learning from each other, and knowing that all of us have a role to play as people, as the workers of the world. So I think that all we need to link our struggles and connect our struggles together, and have a program exchange on how we are going to build a strong movement and strengthen our movement as the people. Yeah.
Okay. Any last words that you want to share with people thinking about people? Most people are going to be listening to this are going to be in the European countries, in the United States. How to think about the relationship between your struggle and the broader global struggle?
Yeah. I think what we can say, we need to understand that our struggles are connected. Our struggles we have the same struggle. So it's us coming together as the people of the world and uniting and having one voice and pushing for change and for total change. And this is the time for total change. This is the time to practice internationalism. This is the time we need to abolish the exploitative system and coming back to be humans again. This time that we need to protect each other. This is the time that we need to have one voice. We need to have one language. We need to be humans again. We don't need to beg for basic needs or social needs. We need to liberate ourselves economically. We need to liberate ourselves in political aspects. So this is the time to get our space back as the people. This is the time to unite as the people. This is the time to have voice as the one people.